Yeah, I think it would be fair to say I liked Andy from the start.
The Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie of all time. To me, it has all the key components to make a great film. You feel the high highs and you feel the low lows. You have a full redemption arc, a deep friendship, the little man outsmart the establishment, deep moral philosophy, a heist, a prison break, all rolled into one fantastic film. I'm Meffistoe and this is my channel. Let us begin.
Andy Dufresne, who crawled through a river of shit and came out clean on the other side.
The Shawshank Redemption is the story of Andy Dufresne, a banker that his wife was cheating on, who got accused and convicted of killing her and her lover. He was sent to the Shawshank prison, and through needing something to pass the time, he made friends with a convict named Red. It is Red's perspective that we learn about Andy's story.
Like he had on an invisible coat that would shield him from this place.
The first years of Andy are rough. He gets brutally beaten and assaulted by the sisters, until the moment he takes a chance and helps the most violent prison guard in Shawshank to avoid paying taxes on his inheritance. This creates a cascading effect to Andy's fortune in the prison and allows him to receive better treatment and to be in a better position to not only escape from prison, but also to bring down the warden and accomplish his dream of freedom and make it on his own terms.
Me, I think he did it just to feel normal again, if only for a short while.
When it comes to the movie making itself, I love going into the weeds on how the story and the production came to be. Frank Darabont, the director, was friends with Stephen King, who wrote the short story that this movie is based on. The actual name of that short story is Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Darabont paid King a check of $5,000 for the rights. However, King never cashed the check and told the production studio he won't release the rights until Darabont actually directed the movie. King was such a good friend, after the movie's release, he framed the check and sent it to Darabont with a note saying, "In case you need bail money, love, Steve." The Shawshank Redemption is one of the handful of movies based on King's work that he actually liked.
I like to think the last thing that went through his head, other than that bullet, was to wonder how the hell Andy Dufresne ever got the best of him.
The casting choices for the two main roles were interesting. For the role of Alice Redding, there were many candidates. Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, and Harrison Ford were considered. Frank Darabont, however, knew he wanted Morgan Freeman, especially because of his voice. Darabont was inspired by the voiceover narration in the movie Goodfellas and wanted the same kind of storytelling in his own movie. When Morgan read the book, he pointed out that Red is described as Irish-born. Darabont said that it didn't matter. However, in the movie, when Andy asks Red why people call him Red, he responded jokingly,
Maybe it's because I'm Irish.
That was Freeman's nod to the source material, something that I personally do appreciate. It is always better that your actors are into the source material. They draw inspiration from the material that might not get into the movie, especially because it is very hard to make a proper adaptation from a book to a film.
I hate to deprive you of this. Salvation lies within.
Yes, sir.
For the role of Andy, there were a number of candidates. Matthew Broderick, Nicolas Cage. Could you imagine that? Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, Kevin Costner, Jeff Bridges, Tom Cruise, and Tom Hanks. Costner actually did like the script, but he was too busy filming Waterworld. Hanks turned it down because of his commitments to Forrest Gump. Hanks, however, did play in the next Frank Darabont film, The Green Mile, another Stephen King adaptation. But it was Tim Robbins who was chosen. One amusing fact about the actors in the film is that of actor Bob Gunton, who played Warden Norton. For some of the scenes, Gunton was wearing a hairpiece. This was not because the actor was losing his hair or for vanity. At the start of the shoot, the actor came from a different project at the time, Demolition Man, and in that role he played a bald police chief. I found something interesting about Clancy Brown, who played Byron Hadley. He did receive an offers from real-life correction officers to work with him on his role. He turned all of them down because he felt like Hadley was too evil and ruthless, and he didn't want to be associated with real-life correctional officers. What a class act.
You eat when we say you eat. You shit when we say you shit, and you piss when we say you piss. You got that, you maggot dick motherfucker?
But the interesting stuff about this movie doesn't stop there. The budget of this movie was $25 million, and it only made $16 million in its initial theatrical run. But despite of this failure, Warner Brothers believed in this movie so much, they shipped out 320,000 rental copies to video stores around the US, which was unusually large at the time. Especially with a box office flop. It became the #1 rented movie in 1995, and it was one of the top rental movies of all time. And nowadays, when a lot of people are considering this one to be the greatest movie ever made, it didn't win a single Oscar while nominated for 7 that year.
It's the part I really like is when she does that shit with her hair.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen it 3 times this month.
And now for the meat and potatoes. What did I think of the movie? I started this video with my statement. This is my favorite film of all time. So why is it? In simple terms, because I love the story and I love the characters. I love the heart that is in the movie. The way it conveys the feelings of each and every character in it. I can understand Tommy's world and how a man can be swept away into the life of crime because of his difficulty learning, even though it is far and away from my own personal life.
2 points right there. There's your goddamn score.
I am not as old as Brooks or spend most of my life in jail, but I understand why he took his own life because of his inability to cope with the outside world, having spent most of it shielded away from it. I understood that because I've heard Red explain the mindset of the life of imprisonment and how that life is being literally stripped away from you.
They send you here for life. That's exactly what they take.
And of course, Andy. Andy, who had the mental fortitude that you and I can aspire to. A mental fortitude that almost betrayed him when he heard about the exonerating evidence he can present and then being snatched away as if it wasn't even there. Andy wasn't just a smart man. He knew people and he knew their motives. He knew their inner workings and he knew how to take advantage of them. Andy was a great reader of character. He broke down and dissected Tommy's inner workings before even Tommy knew it. He also knew that nobody in the prison would look at a man's shoes. However, in the outside world, they would, especially at a place like a bank. Andy always had hope. Hope was his rock, his link to life. And like a rock, he shaped and molded it to save himself from the deep, dark places, to weather the storm of abuse by Boggs and the sisters, to spend a week in the hole because of the opera incidents, and 2 months in the hole for defying the warden.
Get busy living. You get busy dying.
Everyone in that prison miscalculated Andy's motives. Even Red, who became his best friend. Don't believe me? I'll prove it. Andy was playing chess the whole time while everyone else was playing checkers.
Chess. And there's a game of kings.
What?
Civilized, strategic.
And a total fucking mystery. I hate it.
Andy knew Red better than Red did. That will manifest itself at the end of the movie. He knew that Red will hunt down and follow him to that place under the tree and then on to Mexico. Andy convinced the most institutionalized convict in Shawshank that there is hope beyond the walls. For me, the most definitive line from the movie is something that I have only recently discovered and I have to repeat to myself, especially in these times. So I repeat it to others.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, share, and subscribe, but mostly share it around. All I want is to share my love of movies and movie storytelling to people who just want to listen. Have a great day.